All right, Mr. Fransky back here with you again. Today we're going to talk about the midpoint formula. This is kind of the second part of P2 here. So we just finished talking about the distance formula, now we're going to do midpoint. So vocabulary we need to know here, the coordinates, the coordinate plane, and the midpoint between two coordinate pairs. So that midpoint formula, again, one of those things that you probably knew at some point, but you just can't quite remember what it was. So once again, I'm going to do this by drawing a picture. Let's say this is x1, y1. This point over here is x2, y2. So the midpoint we know is going to be dead center between those two. So we want the coordinates of this point right here. Okay, so the question is, what the heck are those points? Well, if you think about it, it's not too bad. Let's think about the x-coordinate and think about the y-coordinate. Look at where that x-coordinate is. Compare it to the x-coordinates that we've got for x1, y1, and x2, y2. Where does it look like it is? Looks like it's about in the middle to me, especially if I had drawn it better. So if you want to find the middle of two numbers, like let's say I want to find the middle of, I don't know, 5 and 15. So you probably know that the middle of 5 and 15 is 10. But I can do that by averaging them, right? Add 5 and 15 and divide by 2. It's 20 divided by 2 is 10. Well, we can do the same thing here. The average of the x's is going to be x1 plus x2 divided by 2. So the midpoint of two coordinate pairs is just going to be the average of the x's, x1 plus x2 over 2. A lot of times people subtract by accident because they're confusing it with the distance formula, right? But we want to add them and divide by 2. And then do the same thing with the y's, right? We're going to average the y's to get dead center in the middle of the two y's as well. So y1 plus y2 over 2. So as I remember it, the distance formula, right? It's like the Pythagorean theorem with the difference of points. And the midpoint formula is just the average of the x's and the average of the y's. That's all there is to it. So let's have you guys try a couple. You can go ahead and pause the video if you'd like to and find the midpoint between -5, 2 and 3, 7, and then also 1/2, 2/3, and 4/3, 3/5. Ooh, some fractions. Looks like fun. I'll be back with you in a second. All right, let's give these a shot. So all we're going to do here is average the x's. So I have -5 plus 3, whoops, divided by 2, and then I have 2 plus 7 divided by 2. So that is -5 and 3 are -2 over 2. And 9/2. That's -1, and then I'm just going to leave the 9/2 alone. You write 4.5 if you want to. I prefer to leave things in fractions. Next up, we got some fractions. Ooh boy. 1/2 plus 4/3 divided by 2. And then we're going to have 2/3 plus 3/5 divided by 2. All right, common denominator here. Let's see if we can figure that out. 1/2 and 4/3, we've got to go to sixths. So we got 3/6 plus, what is that, 8/6 divided by 2. And then we got 2/3 and 3/5. I think we have to go to 15ths there. Oh boy. So that's going to be 10/15 plus that's going to be 9/15. That's all divided by 2. So 3, 6, and 8, 6. That's 11/6 divided by 2. So let me show you a trick. 11/6 divided by 2. I'm going to use what I call the next door property. That is 1/2 times 11/6. All I did was take this and I moved it next door. So I took 11/6, moved it next door, and then got to make sure you put that 1 on the 1/2. That works when you're multiplying by a number too. Like 1/2 times 5 is the same thing as 5/2, right? You can slide that on and off. Should feel real comfortable doing that. So 3, 6, and 8, 6 is 11/6 divided by 2. So we're just going to multiply the 2 and the 6. That is 11/12. And then 10/15 and 9/15, that's 19/15 divided by 2 is 19/30. A little bit of fraction work there. Nothing to be scared of, though. The more you work with fractions, the more comfortable you become with them. Nothing wrong with that. All right, so that's kind of the midpoint formula. And next up, we got one more video to cover for P2. And we're going to close it out with the equation of a circle. And then we're going to put all of these skills together and have one fun problem at the end where you can put all of it together. Thanks, guys. Hope you learned something new.